Hi, everybody in the world. Well, my name is Matthew. Matthew B. Just call me Matthew B. I don't want to get my last name out right now, but basically, I'm going to give you a story of my life. But right now, I think I'm going to start on the present, and I'm going to consider this part one. And my trip to Peru, and how I met the love of my life, and online dating. Alright, basically, online dating it's a tricky thing. Like, you have to know the signs of a scammer, and definitely you can. It's really easy to tell a scammer off the bat. I mean, all right, let's see some of the signs. If they're a girl who says they're in the army or in the military, I say 95% of the time they're fake. They're a scammer. If anybody absolutely, when they first meet you, like, I love you, you're my baby, anything like that, they're a scammer. If anybody ever asks you for money and you've never talked to them on the phone, video chatted, haven't gotten on each other, they're definitely scammers. And I wouldn't send one in the first place unless I met the girl, been with the girl, like met the girl's family or anything like that. And let's see some more. They all have business accounts, scammers, definitely. And they'll send you like all these photos of like I mean, if somebody sends you if you're, I consider myself like a 7 or an 8 in my eyes anyway. I don't know what other people consider me, but let me just say that if a girl who is a 10 comes at you and like, oh, you're so handsome, you're so beautiful, like, I never met anyone like you, scammer. But I've been out of that dating world since I met my girlfriend from Peru, which everybody always said she was she's not really gonna go down there and get cornholed, because I did meet her. I stayed there for 3.5 weeks because I knew she was real. She never asked me for a dime. We got to know each other. We video chatted. And a lot of times they will say like, "Oh, my camera's broken," or I use my phone for my work only. Everybody has phones, so don't play that shit, girls or guys playing girls or whoever the hell you are. And then you get like, I even get celebrities. Like, I mean, like Emma Roberts. There are probably like, I'll say at least 1,000 fake Emma Roberts accounts. You're not gonna meet the real Emma Roberts on like TikTok or any WhatsApp or any of the little apps like that, Google Chat. And they will always say, so how long have you been a fan of mine, or something like that. Yeah, this is bullcrap. But let me tell you about my girlfriend. Okay, we've been together for over a year now. Well, almost a year now. And we were video chatting like daily. Like, I mean, hours and hours at the time. And like, it was Tinder. And I put in 100-mile radius, and she ended up popping up on my screen. And she's 3,000 miles away. So I really think it was fate. And then everybody, when I say like I start talking to her, and we start doing our thing and falling, in love and stuff like that. On the phone, anyway. Because it's different in person. It's so much better in person. And I said, I want to meet this girl because this girl is real. She's never asked me for a dime. She's let me meet her family on the phone. And I mean, I know Peru has its rough edges, and everybody was definitely against it. Like, oh, you're gonna go there, get robbed, kidnapped, cornholed. They're gonna rape you, ask for ransom. And that does happen in places, yes. But, I mean, honestly, you just have to watch your surroundings. And just by having her with me when I went to Peru actually helped me. And I wasn't scared at all. No. I mean, something could have happened, yeah. I mean, you definitely don't. One thing you don't want to do is pull out an iPhone in Lima, Peru, or anywhere like that. And yes, it's like the number 2 capital of cocaine, but that's like in the high mountains. I mean, I didn't see anybody doing drugs. I mean, I saw a few homeless people or a few crazy people, but I mean, New York was worse than Lima, Peru. I mean, the buildings and the streets are definitely different. It is a kind of desert area. I mean, all the houses are made of like concrete. I think that's mainly because of like earthquakes and stuff. And I actually did go through a tremor while I was there, and it didn't scare me. But the people in Lima know what they can do, so they immediately run outside. So the concrete building doesn't just fall on you. And so when that happened, like, everybody was like, run out of the house, run out of the house. And I was just laying in bed with her, and it didn't last but like a minute or two. And I was like, I thought it was pretty cool, but I'm sure a real earthquake would be a lot worse. But I kind of sidetracked that a little bit. So I met this girl, and yes, we're getting married there first in Peru and then here, and we want to have kids. I'm getting old, definitely getting old. Just had a birthday, turned 38. But let me tell you, the worst part of going to Peru is the plane ride. I mean, the plane ride there wasn't so bad, but when I got to Peru, I had a problem first getting out of the country. Apparently, I was missing a paper, but they finally cleared it up. They spoke English. When I got to Peru, I was missing a paper, and I couldn't find anybody that spoke English, so I was the very last person out of the airport, and she was outside waiting for me. And finally, somebody comes who speaks English and got the right paper for me. It's just a declaration of where you're staying, so they know where you are. You can't stay but a certain amount of time the first time. And so I get out of the airport, and when I get out of the airport, I see her. And when I see her, and that she was actually real and even more beautiful in person than she was like through video, it baffled me. It was like love at first sight. Although I've seen her before over the phone, but I mean, she kissed me, she hugged me, and we just instantly hit it off. I mean, instant. And her parents are very strict on her, definitely. And they actually let her spend the night in my my Airbnb. Which, let me say something about Peru, and I'm sorry for any Peruvians out there. No air conditioner no heaters or anything, but it was the middle of summer, no air conditioners. All the air conditioner you had, open your window. And then the mosquitoes are going to tear you up. But we made love. I hope she doesn't get mad about this, but this is my story. We made love almost every day we were there. And we made love that first night, and it was just like instant attraction. I love the way she kisses. I love the way, like, she carries herself. She is, like, very proud of her roots. I mean, I grew up poor. She grew up really poor. And doesn't bother anybody. It makes you stronger. And, of course, I mean, you're not a white boy up there. You're a gringo. But whenever well, that's the first time I travel out of the country, but when I go somewhere, I want to see the culture. I don't want to go to the tourist areas. And so she offers me to stay at her house with her mom and her brother and her dad. And so out of the 3.5 weeks I was there, I stayed at my Airbnb for like 3 days at the max. And the thing about the Airbnb I stayed at, there was no laundry service. They didn't clean your sheets. Of course, you had no air. And the one I stayed in had no running hot water. They did have a stove and a refrigerator. And I did find Budweiser. But very hard to find. And if you smoke cigarettes, you're not going to find American cigarettes. Except Pall Mall. I think just Pall Mall, honestly. But, I mean, we saw the city. We went to the beach. We did a lot of things together. It was just like, the honeymoon phase. And she was real. Before I went there, my parents were, my whole family. I was staying in a small town, so the whole town was talking about, oh, he's going to Peru. He's not going. But I showed them, and I went. And guess what? I came back intact and with a beautiful woman. Well, I didn't come back with the woman. I'm working on that now, but she's amazing. She even invited me to live there with her. Maybe for like a year or something, but I just can't do it. I'm a small town kind of guy, and Lima, Peru is crazy. The driving is crazy. Big cities are hard for me. I love big cities, but that city, you have these little scooters, not mopeds, but scooters, and you have like taxis on 3 wheels. They're like pulling out in front of you and just like zooming by you and then see a wreck. And okay, so I stayed Christmas, New Year's, and her mom's birthday. And I must say, I thought Americans could drink. No, not even close. When they have a holiday, they drink. And I'm talking about binge drinking for 3 days straight. I couldn't hang. Definitely couldn't hang. But I did learn some salsa steps. Like, she taught me some salsa, and I can't believe she got me to do that. But I'm a free spirit. And whenever I get a buzz off of drinking, I'm going to step out, and all her neighborhood friends that she grew up with really loved me. Although they didn't speak English, she could translate for me, but I'm good at reading body language, so I could kind of tell what they were saying without them saying it. But the New Year's Eve party was amazing, and when I say fireworks, they're blowing up fireworks everywhere, and they say people will always die when they are doing the fireworks in Peru, setting fires to buildings without meaning to. I mean, you're shooting fireworks off in a big city, and when they land, they still have that spark on them, and they will burn and burn and burn. But it was definitely an experience, and I loved it. And I love this girl, and this is where I'm at now with her, talking with her, trying to get her over here, trying to get married, want to have kids before I get too old to have kids. And I did notice, and she noticed, well, she already knew that a white guy in Peru, the girls, like, I don't know if they think we all have money or they just like the skin tone or what, but they just are gaga over it, the guys like me. But I'm no cheater, and I would never do anything like that to her. But that's really when I found out. Well, I did date half Latino girl before then, but that's a different. I don't even want to talk about that. But I like girls with culture. I like girls with darker skin. It seems like here in America, the girls you'll find are girls who you have to be super rich or like just, I don't know, a player, or they have more values in Peru than they will ever have in America. I mean, they're proud people. They're a very proud people. And I'm so glad for that experience. It changed my life. I mean, she really, like, you can see it in her eyes. And I call her puppy eyes, because when she looks at me, it's just like with those beautiful brown eyes. And but all right, so that's my first story, and I'm going to mention the plane ride back sucked. Immigration sucks. I mean, I stayed in immigration for probably 3 or 4 hours waiting in line to get my bag, and scared I wasn't going to get home. And I was so tired. But this next time I go, it's going to be like, I wasn't prepared. Definitely wasn't prepared. I needed to take more stuff. And I mean, the money situation, that definitely was great, because their money, which is called soles, it, like, the American dollar turned into soles, you can, like, it feels like you're rich. I mean, I could spend money and still have, like, a lot of money in my pocket that I haven't even turned into their money. But I had coming back, I had like a 14-hour layover, and then the plane was late. So that was in Fort Lauderdale. I was so ready to get out of there. But just American girls, I mean, they're great. Yeah, don't get me wrong. You can meet the right American girl, but I've seen so many relationships with American girls go wrong. I mean, this Peruvian girl, she will cook for me. I mean, I got really sick there one time, and she took care of me. When I got there, she gave me a pedicure. She washed me. I mean, I'm like, I can wash myself, but I mean, it's great to have a pretty female wash you. But on the next part, I'll talk about my childhood, but I just wanted to mention where I am now. I'm working hard. I'm going back to school eventually, and definitely want to be more successful than I am. But you know how people are. They just don't wish the best for you. They want you to fail, it seems like, almost, in America. I love America now. I mean, I would never live anywhere else, but the people can be very mean and hurtful. So that was my visit to Lima, Peru, and just make sure if you ever go there to have a Peruvian with you, and do not bring out your iPhone. Do not. That's key. Do not show that you have an iPhone, because iPhones over there are worth a lot of money, and people are definitely looking at you then. But yeah, and public transportation isn't cool either. But that's my first story. So if you like that story, just wait. You're going to have some funny stories coming up. My name is Matt. Hope I get some viewers. Hope you listen. Love you. See you next time.